We began our meeting yesterday afternoon and concluded a short while ago. We managed to fit our discussions over the day and a half, given the substantial agenda that we had. We made an early statement about Dominica. Dominica experienced loss recently, and the meeting expressed its concern over the loss of life and damage to property following the passage of Tropical Storm Erika, and noted the actions taken individually and collectively by member states to assist Dominica. To add flavor to the meeting, the region's progress towards food self-sufficiency and security was a common thread throughout our deliberations. Intra-regional trade in food and agricultural products remains one of the region's greatest potentials for achieving a higher level of food self-sufficiency from a regional perspective. Ministers and the delegations paid emphasis on the commodities that were previously identified as priorities for increased agricultural production. Those commodities are roots and root tubers with focus on cassava, fisheries, small ruminants, and herbs and spices, particularly hot peppers. And there was robust discussion on the root and root tuber industry following a presentation by the Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, which leads a cluster of agencies that holds responsibility for the development of a regional cassava industry. Ministers were pleased with the announcement that the community was in receipt of a $1.2 million grant from the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, towards supporting the development of the regional cassava industry. Ministers also agreed that there should be greater involvement of the private sector at the individual entry level as opposed to a private sector cluster approach to push the industry. Ministers also agreed on the necessity for support to be given to public and private sector activities that were planned or that were underway to fully recognize the benefits of the development of the cassava industry. Sugar was another agenda item for which there was full and extensive discussions. There was agreement around the table that given the tenuous position of the regional sugar industry, it was imperative for the industry to be reformed and for sugar-producing member states to continue to pursue the creation and improvement of value-added products from sugar, for example, from bagasse and molasses. Ministers therefore agreed that there should continue to be local production for the local markets in the region, as well as the pursuit of linkages with other sectors, including tourism. A recommendation was also made for the creation of a biotech industry that would guide the production of value-added products from sugar. Given the importance of the fortunes of the Barbados-based cane breeding station, the meeting acknowledged that every effort needed to be expended to place it on a firm financial footing in Barbados. And the meeting received a report on Agricultural Policy Program, AAP, which is supported by the European Union through the 10th EDF. The overall program of the Caribbean action of the APP is to contribute to the regional and interregional capabilities of the agricultural sector in addressing agricultural resilience and development eradicating poverty. The components are strengthening regional agricultural development policy, improving the dissemination and adoption of applied research and appropriate technologies, and contributing to agricultural enterprise development through improved market linkages. The initial program was revised because of a time constraint, but it is on track to make an impact with the resources that are available to it. Member states have given the undertaking that they will continue to support the APP. We also discussed CASPLA, the region's agency responsible for agricultural health and food safety, as they presented their work plan for 2016, which was approved by the ministers. This was approved, signaling their continued support for the agency and agricultural health and food safety. CAFSA can now become fully operational, and one expects that it can support and resolve sanitary and phytosanitary issues that affect trade in the region. We also discussed Caribbean Week of Agriculture, CWA. The sustainability and effectiveness of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture and whether or not it was feasible to be held each year was discussed. Cost, as you know, is one of the major factors in the hosting of CWA by member states each year in the month of October. CWA was not held this year, but will be held next year in the Cayman Islands. FAO conference in Mexico was also discussed, and ministers were invited to the FAO regional conference in Mexico in February and March next year, 2016. Among the matters to be discussed included South-South cooperation on matters of agriculture, challenges and perspectives for food and nutrition security, family farming, risk management, and climate change. Ministers were also encouraged to attend, all to attend. The ministers agreed to the establishment of an interministerial committee to ensure greater collaboration among ministers of agriculture can help drive the regional integrational process to and facilitate trade in agricultural products and achieving the regional food security objectives, and thus can help drive the regional integration process. Our conference ended today a little after 2 o'clock, and I can say that on behalf of the ministers who attended that we accomplished a great deal in that 1.5-day period, and I think that the Caribbean will be better for our decisions made and conclusions at which we arrived at this meeting.